I'm Annie. I'm an independent social worker. I've worked in social work, adult social care, for about 34 years, and then decided 3 years ago to become independent. So in my work now, I do expert reports for the court, and I also undertake independent review for safeguarding adults review. That's a statutory review which is carried out when somebody died or somebody suffered significant harm as a result of abuse, and there's a belief that agencies didn't work together enough to safeguard the person. Looking back, I'm rather embarrassed to say I actually didn't have very much knowledge and no contact with family group conferencing with adults, even though I was in adult social care. I found myself working as head of safeguarding for Camden for an interim period and came across the Camden FGC team. And for the first time, I experienced for myself and saw for myself the difference family group conferencing offers to safeguarding cases and very complex cases. What really struck me at that time was the enthusiasm and the passion of the social workers and the teams in making a difference through family group conferencing. And that was really infectious, and I caught that after it. I have stepped out of local authority, and I'm looking at things on the other side. I work with users, vulnerable adults, and their families, and I'm no longer on the statutory services side. I can see the anguish, the frustration, the challenge they have to go through meandering this health and social care system. I can see their anxiety when families experience caring for vulnerable people they love, seeing the deterioration in their physical and mental health, and also decline of mental capacity. Often, statutory services can only offer so much. Social and healthcare systems are complex. We are all short of resources, and we often work in silos. So you go to your GP for that, you go to the mental health team for this. And now I'm sitting on the other side and managing very complex cases. I can really see how family group conferencing at an earlier stage can help to bring people together, can prevent people working in different boxes, can join up the wishes of the person and the efforts of the family and the networks of the community and all the different professional input. Using family group conferencing can bring collaborative approach, can make sure we put the person at the center of everything we do at a much earlier stage, because the work I'm engaged in, sadly, have been going down the journey for a very, very long time. And sadly, professionals, families, the person, they're all in dispute, and it becomes a very long and costly process to go through the court. And sadly, when I'm doing independent review, we are talking about extreme situations when we lose a life. I think it means that first and foremost, their voice is heard. And maybe in very complex situations, they have limited communication, they have limited cognitive capacity, but we can work much more creatively to think about solutions, to think about what the wishes and feelings of the person are, what is most important for that person. I think it brings family members and friends together, which is part of the circle of support for that person. We all know they play a really big part in adult social care. Local authority would not be able to do all the work without unpaid carers' contribution. It also brings professionals together. I think often, partly because of lack of resources, partly because of lack of time, we follow set processes and pathways. We look at eligibility criteria and we offer under that pathway. And often for the person, the services are very disjointed. I think it brings a really holistic approach where people can talk, really talk, can have the conversations at a much earlier part of that person's care journey. I would say to any organization to be courageous, to be innovative. I've worked long enough in adult social care to know and to be honest to acknowledge that the solutions we have don't always work and can't really meet people's needs within our limited budget and resources. We know other solutions are required. I would say to organizations that ultimately you're putting the time and the investment of resources and money into another way of working with people and their families, which ultimately benefit the organization and also, more importantly, ultimately benefit the user and their family. I think in my work, sadly, because I deal with very complex cases at a very late stage, sometimes late stage of the person's life, and I look at that and I think, what difference could it have made if family group conferencing or other creative solutions are adopted and longer term planning rather than firefighting, crisis intervention, longer term planning is put in together with the user and the family and the community, thinking about their wishes and feelings and their culture and all those different things which are really important to the person. I would say it's an investment worth making. Yeah.